Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and today I want to cover some news about the channel, about some of the things happening in SWGOH right now. There's a lot of stuff here that's just kind of piling up, and I think some of it has to do with Capital Games kind of rushing into some things. Obviously, some testing is not occurring on their end, so they've definitely got some stuff that they're looking into right now. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening, and I want to get you guys up to date as soon as I can. So, like and subscribe, comment down below. Channel members, I do apologize. I haven't got a chance to work on your title cards. I kind of have to, come clean about some stuff that's been going on here on the home front. So, thank you guys again for your patience. Yeah, so a lot of you have been asking kind of, hey, where's an update on the free-to-play account? It's been a little bit since you mentioned it, and the reason for that, guys, is I've decided to stop playing that account. This wasn't an easy decision. This was a decision that took me a while to come to. It just got to a point where it was work. And not just work for me to play the free-to-play account, but work to even get into my main account. I was letting things slip. I was slacking. It was not fun at the time. Like, I'd sit down after, everybody's asleep, and I'm like, okay, I can finally, watch a TV show. And then I'm like, crap, I gotta do Galactic War, and I gotta do my dailies, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do that, and I just kind of engrossed too much of it, and that's just the kind of person I am. It's one of the big reasons why I don't play multiple accounts, is I know I can't not do something to its fullest. It's just the way I am, and so that's why I'm gonna be sticking just with this account here. Hopefully you did enjoy the time that I was able to put into the free-to-play, but it's just, unfortunately time to call it quits, and I want to make sure that, mentally I'm okay, that I get to, have more of that free time back. So, thank you guys for putting up with that. I hope you did enjoy the time that was there, and I hope we can continue to work together on this main account. So that's the big channel update there, and hopefully that leads to more live streams and more other stuff, because I just would feel so drained and so exhausted. I was like, I can't spend another second in SWGOH right now. And that's not what I should be at all. Like, I should be enjoying getting onto the game. So, with that said, let's kind of talk about some of the stuff that's going on here inside of SWGOH. So, we have our current Conquest going on right now. We're about a day in, and so far, the data discs are really, I've had some really good data discs here. Leaders Resolve, Fortified, two of my favorite discs, hoping for some Voluntary Vanguard. But I would say that for an endgame account, this Conquest is going to be pretty easy. I'm not sure how other players are faring at, the earlier levels. So I'm curious to see how all of that kind of pans out. But on this topic of Conquest, there's been a couple of bugs that have been reported, couple things that have been going on. So let's switch over to, or I guess, speaking of Conquest, before we get to the bugs, there was a, if we come out here for a second, whoops, hold on. Let's go here, and let's go this way. Okay, there we go. So there was a survey that Capital Games put out here where they're like, hey, what do you find the most appealing about Conquest Omicrons? And so I marked all of these the first time I did this, right? I marked them all as ones. The reason I did that is because I don't like Conquest Omicrons. I think Conquest Omicrons are horrible. I don't think that I think the problem with Conquest Omicrons, right? When you read this and it's like mixing a buff debuff feats easier to 3-star a battle, reducing difficulty of modifiers, consumable data dysfunction, some of this stuff, right? No, none of those, right? And so, if not listed above, what functionality would you like to see? And I was like, and I use this to say, I think Conquest Omicrons would be a terrible idea. The problem I have with Conquest Omicrons is that they'd have to be consistent. That, for example, we go here to Shorty, right? Shorty is the only character with a Conquest Omicron. And you look at this. This is a really, really key piece of data. There are 8,000 Shorty Omicrons in Galaxy of Heroes right now. 8,000 total. The Wampa Omicron has over 250,000 people have equipped that Omicron. 250,000. So, I mean, this is nothing, right? This is so abysmal. It's so small and minuscule that they're obviously noticing that people don't want this Omicron whatsoever. And I think, in my opinion, this survey is them trying to see, should we do more? And I think the answer should be no. And here's why, right? This is the real reason why. Let's go back to the game. Is that your issue with Conquest Omicrons is that, okay, are you always going to have a global feat then for Shorty? Right? Hey, win battles with Shorty. or like win with her Omicron, win with the Omicron equipped. And you're like, well, that's not fair. Like now I have to equip this Omicron for this global feat. And then, hey, we're releasing another one. And then that's the character. And you're like, well, what about my shorty one? Like, how do I get to use that? It's unlike other game modes, Grand Arena, Territory Wars, where you can switch up your defense. Datacrons are coming in. And that's like the one thing that I'd say with Datacrons there, like as much as we hate them, they do allow certain Omicrons to get used and not used depending on what's happening. But with Conquest, like, what are you going to eventually do when there's 20 Conquest Omicrons and you can't use 20 teams? Like, the only thing I could think that you could do, and this would be my fix. If you want to do it, what you say is defeat 50 enemies with Stap or with Shorty's Omicron. If you want to make Conquest Omicrons, you need to keep the functionality of Conquest the same for the players who aren't willing to invest in those Omicrons. Because the Conquest Omicron should make the player's experience easier, but they should not keep people from getting a max crate, would be my opinion. So that every single feat on here should have a or Conquest Omicron kind of thing. But then again, what happens when you run out, and that's why I'm just kind of like against the whole Conquest Omicron thing, is that I think it would you get too many of them too quickly. People wouldn't really equip them. Obviously, players, like this game mode is already resource intensive enough, and having to equip Omicrons to get feats done would just be miserable. What I think would be much more interesting, because they're obviously asking this question from a monetization standpoint, right? Where a lot of this is coming from is that monetization standpoint of, hey, like, what can get you to spend more resources for Conquest? So they have their Pass and Pass Plus. What I recommend they do, I think this would be awesome. You guys tell me if you like this idea. Have like a $50 pass where you get, because right now in the pass you get booming voice and you get the where is it? Deployable cooldown systems here somewhere, right? Where is it at? Is it overprepared or whatever? What's the feat that gives you it? I haven't even, that tells you how much I've looked at those things. Okay, so overprepared. So you get basically, 30 burritos by buying that pass, but it's related to winning with light side Mandalorians and getting kills with Stap. And the argument I make is that as an account owner, I can get my light side Mandalorian wins. I would struggle a lot more to get this one done and this one done. So I think what they should do instead, if they want to really try to increase revenue, is you make another pass, whether it's, hey, make this one $20 or keep this $30 and make another one that's maybe a little bit more expensive. You gotta feel the room, but put it in there like, hey, we're going to give you 40 burritos. That instead of giving you these two things, we're just going to flat out give you burritos. Because if like them giving you those two feats, okay, that gets you done. That's 30 burritos. But wouldn't you rather get a blanket 40? That you start with 40 of them. So now you can skip certain feats. You don't have to get this one or this one. You can focus on the ones that you can get done. I think that would be a great change for this game. I think that'd be a great way to increase revenue because players would purchase that. I think a lot of people would go for these passes a little bit more if it was, we're going to give you 40, 45 burritos instead of these things. Just, hey, here's 45 burritos, skip the feats that you don't want to do. That's just, again, one man's humble opinion. And then inside of that, you could put a, data disk or something that would be, hey, while using, the Omicrons on your characters are activated in, Conquest. Think about the like Darth Vader Wampa node we had a few Conquest cycles ago, and they're like Wampa's Omicron is activated for this battle. How cool would it be that with a pass, again, you'd have to pay for it because it'd be a premium thing, but we're going to allow you to use your Omicrons. Just think about that. So that would be how I think you could go about trying to remonetize Conquest and, generate additional revenue. I don't think Omicrons are the right answer. I think it's trying to incentivize that spending through giving additional things away. And if you're wondering where that's coming from, think about, Boss Nass and Tarpos with this new marquee system. It's driving revenue because they're giving out more stuff. So that's that part of Conquest. Now, sticking with Conquest and talking about bugs, this defeat 600 B1 battle droids is bugged right now. They're trying to figure out what's going on there. The Sector 3 boss, I believe, is similar to the raid where there's like waves and that's where you're supposed to get this done. So you do not have to do 600 battles for this. And if they can't fix it, I'd almost guarantee that they would do some sort of make good to ensure that players get this feat, because that would just be ridiculous if there's a feat that you literally can't compete or can't complete, and that's going to keep people from getting Queen Amidala shards. So that is definitely bugged right now, and I think they're definitely trying to work out, figure out how to get there. So I want to flip back over here, because now going into some other bugs that have kind of been happening in the game, right, is the current Ray Datacron for Resistance, Resistance Datacron. So, fall below full health. Anyone else having an issue when facing the new Resistance Datacron? Initial attacker failed to kill Ray and BB-8. Now it appears we can't kill either until they heal themselves back out to 100%. Is this working as intended? And when you read the Datacron, it's saying, hey, Resistance allies have 100% tenacity. They can't be defeated until each of them has fallen below 100% health. So in this example, technically Ray and BB-8 have not fallen below 100% health because they started at less than 100% health. So I really hope, I don't know if a developer has responded to this. I'm trying to see if there was a developer who responded or not. Yeah, okay, Meathead did, there we go, yeah. So he passed that along to the team. So they're definitely looking into that. I think it will get fixed. There's no way, like all I'm going to say is there's no way they let this continue. Like other people were sharing stuff. Look at this one, 70 battles here. It's insane, right? That's insane. And frankly, it's what's so difficult about it is that I can understand why, like they didn't test it. There's no way they tested it, because like this would be an easy thing to find of, hey, let's drop them below 100% health and see if we can kill them. Like, so I think they definitely need to work on this. They're going to figure it out. I think in some ways it's fortunate this happened in Territory Wars instead of Grand Arena, because I feel that the punishment for losing in Territory Wars is far less than the punishment for losing in Grand Arena. Just one man's humble opinion. So, definitely something they're looking into. That's definitely a big bug that's going on right now, right? That's definitely something. So, with all that said, guys, there's a lot kind of happening, some bugs going on. Again, Capital Games kind of continuing their trend of, hey, we don't like to test stuff. But overall, I think like it is good that they're looking into it. They've, brought up a lot of stuff like, hey, we're looking into this. I passed it to the team. So they are looking into these things. Hopefully we get them fixed, especially before the next Grand Arena and Territory War cycle, because that would just be a nightmare. Especially like you think of the advantage your guild would have of having that Datacron versus not. Again, more advantage to those who like to wail on stuff. So, yippee. Final thing we'll get into here, the Jedi Knight Cal Kestis event is finally coming back for, the first time in many months. And of course, it's like right on cue with the Leviathan, because we got to make sure that you would have to spend crystals for both of them because we love you so much. I just love to point that out. I think it's really funny. But yeah, Cal is back. I will say I'm a little bit salty that he's releasing on like the later half of phase 2 of territory battles. I really think that this guy should be releasing, like, at least for me, he's releasing that time. I'm sure for other people it's different, but I really feel like this should have been done before territory battles, because he's a territory battle character. Like, why are you not trying to give him to everybody before TB starts? Just, again, I try not to complain a lot. I felt like I needed to complain about this. Like, you could have done this 2 days earlier and it wouldn't have caused problems. That's all I'm saying. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to let you go. Again, thank you so much. Like and subscribe, comment. I love you all. May the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.